Welcome to Catalan News. Catalan leaders will remain in jail at least until Monday. Although a decision regarding their incarceration was expected today, the Supreme Court decided to postpone it until next week. Vice President Oriol Junqueras and 7 other ministers were sent to prison almost a month ago on November 2nd. Civil society leaders Jordi Cuixart and Jordi Sánchez entered jail on October 16th. All faced charges for their role in Catalonia's push for independence and were preemptively put in custody by the National Court. Some saw the Supreme Court's takeover of the case as a sign that they could be freed before the electoral campaign starts on December 5th. Still, Spain's Attorney General maintained the request for preemptive imprisonment for all of them. What will end up happening, we will soon know. In today's show, we will also learn about Catalonia's massive yearly food drive, and we will also see how the snow has already started to fall. Let's begin. Judge Pablo Llanera summoned all the imprisoned pro-independence leaders to court to revise the precautionary measures imposed when they were still being tried at the National Court. That is, prison without bail. The expectations were high, as a decision was expected on the same day. But we will have to wait until Monday. Meanwhile, the request for preemptive imprisonment for all of them was reiterated by Spain's Attorney General.
It's been almost a month since 8 Catalan ministers were preemptively sent to prison on November 2nd, accused of rebellion for moving ahead with independence plans. Civil society leaders Jordi Sánchez and Jordi Cuixart entered jail even before on October 16th. Today, the Spanish Supreme Court was expected to revisit the case and decide whether they should be freed, but it decided to postpone the decision until Monday. Spanish police vans transported them from the prisons in Madrid where they're being held to the court. Catalan politicians and pro-independence supporters of the prisoners gathered in front of the court in a show of solidarity. The hearing started at 9:30 a.m. with the highest-ranking official held behind bars, Vice President Oriol Junqueras. It lasted 20 minutes and then came the rest. All of them only responded to their lawyers' questions. The hearings were over after 1 p.m. Now all eyes will be set on Monday next week, but their release is far from a reality. The Spanish public prosecutor today doubled down on his demands to keep all the Catalan leaders in jail. Meanwhile, defense attorneys made their case in front of the judge. The accused should be free because they were dismissed by the Spanish government. Therefore, there is no risk of them repeating the offences. Additionally, they said they should be able to run in the December 21st election while free.
Muchos de los investigados se presentan a las elecciones democráticas y que evidentemente consideraba y se lo solicitaba al magistrado que tuviera en consideración esta circunstancia, que es una circunstancia excepcional.
If freed on Monday, they would be back home before the electoral campaign starts on December 5th. However, the Spanish government stressed that political considerations would not affect the judge's criteria.
Leaders from several political parties have reacted to the Supreme Court's decision. While unionist parties warned that if Catalan officials govern again, their actions will not change, pro-independence parties and associations underlined the strength that, according to them, jailed Catalan leaders showed throughout their lives.
És evident que es busca aquest plus de venjança quan a algú se li està obligant a renegar o a intentar evitar defensar les seves idees.
No demanarem a ningú què és el que ha explicat davant del tribunal, el que ens importa és tot el que han fet aquests consellers i el vicepresident i els Jordis, tota la seva trajectòria de coherència i de fermesa i dignitat i sempre de forma pacífica, això és el que realment ens importa.
Yo respeto las decisiones judiciales siempre, sean las que sean, pero si estos señores vuelven a gobernar, van a volver a hacer lo mismo. Y creo que estamos acostumbrados a verles decir cosas muy diferentes delante de los jueces i en los mítines i en el Parlament de Catalunya.
Que si avui fan una declaració en un determinat sentit, el que no seria coherent i seria continuar amb l'engany que ja porten uns quants anys fent des del govern, de dir una cosa davant del jutge per després fer una cosa diferent amb la seva activitat política o en els seus programes electorals.
The Catalan People's Party has been very critical with Catalonia's public media. Today, they went a step further and denounced a radio show along with its anchor, one of the most famous journalists in Catalonia, for an alleged lack of neutrality in an editorial. On the show in question, broadcast on Catalonia's public radio, journalist Mónica Terribas spoke of the ongoing political situation. Specifically, during her morning editorial, she commented on the jailed Catalan officials, the police reinforcements on October 1st, and the economic intervention of the country since September. In the complaint presented at the Electoral Commission, the PP stated that opinions cannot be expressed, recalling that all public media depends on the Spanish state and demanded that it respect the pluralism of society. Catalan public journalists are allowed to do editorials in their shows using an informal and personal style, as it is usually the case in such genres. Let's look now at two initiatives put forth to help those in need: the massive Gran Recapta food drive and a new Red Cross mental health program to aid those on the street in the northern Catalan town of Girona.
4% of the Catalan population suffers from extreme poverty, and this small percentage is still too high. And what better opportunity to help for the holidays than the Gran Recapta, Catalonia's massive yearly food drive that kicked off today. The supplies that are most needed are oil, milk, and canned fish and vegetables, which can be dropped off at 2,700 designated points throughout the country. While people may not be able to give much, every little helps, and help is needed.
Si son 6 litros de llet, pues a mica son para la pica, ¿no, Dio?
Porque hay mucha necesidad, y aunque sea poquito, hay que ayudar.
The organizing entity, the Catalan Food Bank, is aiming to reproduce last year's results. Then, the food drive collected 4,300 tons of food, which was then donated to more than 200,000 beneficiaries. And this year, a record of 27,000 people volunteered.
Pero satisface mucho el ayudar, colaborar y ver la gente cómo colaboran.
With the sudden drop in temperature, helping those in need, especially those on the street, has become more urgent than ever. And this is why, in the northern Catalan town of Girona, the Red Cross has implemented a new mental health program to help the homeless. This joins another initiative by the Red Cross, the Girona Town Hall, and the local police to help those without shelter by distributing blankets and hot soup just in time for the cold weather.
And as the cold front takes hold in Catalonia in some regions, the snow has already begun to fall. Although many of the usual areas high up in the mountains were covered in a blanket of snow today, the scenic beauty of a winter wonderland may reach lower-lying parts of the country below 200 meters altitude and near the coast. While a picturesque sight for some, the snow can make life difficult. On certain roads affected, the Catalan Traffic Service has warned that the use of snow chains is advisable. While it snows in Catalonia, Barcelona has no shortage of things to do indoors. Now, this includes an exhibit on ancient Greece, where visitors can see some of the British Museum's oldest and rarest items.
Visitors can get a front row seat to the battles and games in ancient Greece in a new Barcelona exhibit. It's called Agon Competition in Ancient Greek. The display is co-presented by the British Museum with 170 objects from their classic collection, seen as one of the most extensive in the world. The artifacts range from toys to coins to pottery to marble statues to bronze castings and more. For some, this is the very first time they're being loaned, and many were restored specially for the occasion, although aimed to show how ubiquitous competition was in people's daily life, even in death, and even how similar it is to our own experience today.
People competed very much the way we do today, in the way you dress, the way you present your home, the activities that you perform every day, and how you performed, also competed in death. Your tombs, in a place in the ancient Greek world where life expectancy was quite short, death was very important, how you were remembered.
Another aspect that competition bled into was warfare. This, in an iconic battle scene, is shown on one of the most important pieces in the whole exhibition, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world.
Perhaps the most important object in the exhibition is one of the slabs of the frieze from the mausoleum at Halicarnassus, which was one of the ancient 7 wonders of the world. This has never been loaned by the British Museum before and is the best preserved of all the frieze panels showing a battle between the Greeks and the Amazons.
Indeed, Agon means competition in ancient Greek, and the exhibition follows this narrative to explore every aspect of the lost society. The display is split into 8 sections, focused on everything from mythology to childhood games, and of course, athletic competition. Visitors can see this exclusive Lost World until February 18, 2018 at the CaixaForum Museum.
Today is World AIDS Day. But Barcelona already began to commemorate it last night, with a special event held in front of the city's town hall. The facade of Barcelona's city council was illuminated red in a show of solidarity with the international event, raising awareness for the disease. But all was not rosy, as presentations were made denouncing the stigma and discrimination that people with HIV still suffer. The Minister of Public Health spoke at the event, highlighting the problems still faced on a daily basis by people with the condition, along with the President of the December 1st Committee, a platform made up of various bodies dedicated to fight against AIDS. In cultural news, we have a little treat for you. A hit show returns to Barcelona tomorrow, and it promises to be quite the feast for the senses, especially for the little ones. After its success at the international theatre festivals La Tàrrega and El Grec, La Petita Malumaluga Theatre Company returns to Barcelona with its show, My Baby is a Queen. Although the show may be an aesthetically pleasing visual treat, it deals with important issues such as sexuality, disability, origins, and ideas through music, dance, and visuals. Aimed at babies but suitable for all ages, it opens to the public tomorrow and will run until December 10th in the Sala Tallers in Barcelona. And that's all for today's show. But before we go, we're going to leave you with a video of the Catalan minister Toni Comín, deposed by the Spanish government, now in Belgium, playing the famous song Laura by anti-Francoist activist Lluís Llach. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.